No. I think this story is too unique to go into this series. But the other one, it doesn't exclusively belong there either. I got it. Although Ascension is mostly a linear process, getting to the point of rising may not be. Businesses often go years in the red and close to bankruptcy before having a profitable year, for example. Alternatively, a team may suffer with a historic losing record when fate finally smiles on them. This is also demonstrated by anyone attempting to break into the entertainment industry. To that end, for one such story, not only was their path toward ascension long, arduous, and filled with many setbacks, the launchpad would be from an absolutely unexpected place. Moreover, this point would only be revealed once they ascended from the toxicity to which they had become accustomed. Hello and welcome, or welcome back, to the Awesome Blackness channel. I am the Mighty One, and on this platform, we celebrate the awesomeness of our people. That's right, whether you're big or small, celebrity or civilian, anywhere in the world, if it's awesome, it's featured here. And for this video, we're going to highlight the awesome ascension of Tabitha Brown. Many know her as the viral sensation on social media, where, with an easy demeanor and undertones of Southern hospitality, touts quick and easy vegan recipes, while also offering encouraging musings that are no doubt good for the soul. And even more have become familiar with her as essentially a transplanted version of Mr. Rogers from another realm of the multiverse. And while one would be a fool to believe this marvelous personality came from out of nowhere, no one would be blamed for being uninformed that behind the calm and welcoming presence lies a 20-plus year road that is fraught with all the hazards found when forging the traditional path of the entertainment industry. A story that, apropos, can be conveyed in a 3-act arc. Thus, without further ado, born on the 4th of February in 1979, Tabitha Bonita Brown is from the small city of Stoneville in North Carolina, but attended school in nearby Eden. Brown knew from an early age that she wanted to be an actor. According to her, she watched The Cosby Show with the desire to become one of Rudy's friends who came over and got into all kinds of mischief. And so, she involved herself in acting at school, in community theater, and in church. Brown also loved music class and embraced any opportunity to dance, sing, and have fun. In addition, she developed a knack for making people laugh. And her father fostered this by buying her joke books. Whenever there was a cookout, she was the kid who entertained everyone. After graduating from John Motley Moorhead High School in 1997, Brown studied fashion design at Miami International University of Art and Design. Going to college, and this institution in particular was on the advice of her mother when Brown again affirmed that she wanted to become a performer and move to Hollywood. Her mother, who warned her of the difficult life an actor faces before getting a break, if ever, suggested Brown study fashion as a fallback career, a field for which she also had a talent. Thus, she headed south. However, Brown decided to drop out after a couple of semesters, as the urgency of being a performer was palpable and overwhelming. Taking a leap of faith and around $1,200, she then moved clear across the country to Orange County, California, around 1998. The plan was to work a day job, attend as many auditions as possible, and save enough money to settle in Los Angeles. Soon after arriving on the West Coast, Brown realized that it would be difficult to maintain the cost of living before even attempting to pursue her aspirations. Countless people have arrived in the City of Angels with the same dream of stardom, only to be hit with the realization of the insurmountable odds of achieving it, not only from the aforementioned financial aspect, but also from another, more nefarious element. In mid-2004, comedian Dave Chappelle negotiated the largest deal until that point in his career. The executives at fledgling network Comedy Central promised him $50 million and 50% of DVD revenues to continue producing the largely successful Chappelle Show. In just 2 seasons, it set unprecedented metrics and introduced many pop culture references into the zeitgeist. However, just 8 months later, Chappelle would be on a flight from Newark, New Jersey to South Africa, effectively abandoning his show in the middle of production of the latest season. Upon returning, he was inundated with interview requests, one of whom was Oprah Winfrey. Among pointedly answering as to why he disappeared, he also detailed the nature of the entertainment industry.
I forgot the hostility of the environment of show business.
Chappelle was a 20-year veteran in the business at that point. For him to still be susceptible to the toxicity of Hollywood is telling. Which is why I suspect that Brown, being naive, young, and having all the endearing but unfortunately preyed upon features of a Southern girl, wasn't fully prepared for the harsh environment that is Hollywood. And so, in short order, she returned to North Carolina, this time moving to Greensboro. Down but not out, the plan was for them to regroup and return when a more solid game plan was in place. Speaking of which, now is a good time to introduce Chance, Brown's partner of nearly 25 years. As detailed in interviews, though they were 8th grade sweethearts, their relationship extends as far back as elementary. However, as a result of Big Sister Tasha's advice, Brown breaks up with Chance before entering high school. Despite the fact that she quickly realizes her error, it is too late for them to reunite during this period. She stated that he hated her for all 4 years and would barely speak to her. The small town and even smaller high school meant that they would often run into one another, making it that more difficult. In fact, one day at a basketball game around sophomore year, Brown and her mother spotted Chance with his current girlfriend. The longing for him was palpable. Brown's mother told her that Chance was the one she would marry, a declaration Brown outright scoffed at, considering he was dating someone else at the time and was going to be a father at that. Refutations aside, Brown could not deny the butterflies she received whenever he was around or when a thought of him came across her mind. These emotions remained consistent throughout the years despite this hatred, and even after both departed high school. Which is why, while in Miami, Brown took a chance and called him seemingly out of the blue and confessed her feelings. Feelings that seemed to be reciprocated, and they would eventually get together, becoming a couple in 1998. In fact, Chance had been present during the latter part of Brown's brief stint in California. And this snapshot is from that time, serving as a reminder that it was in these moments of struggle that their love was forged and their commitment to one another galvanized, come what may. Thus, Chance has been primarily providing background support for Brown as she realizes her dream, a dream that was now being deferred. In Greensboro, Brown slowly began to get into the groove of traditional life. She and Chance welcomed their first of 2 children together, daughter Choice. They got a house, a car, and regular 9-to-5 jobs. Additionally, they would become man and wife on the 19th of April in 2003. It may not have been what she envisioned, but it was a life in which she had become accustomed. However, sometime in 2002, Brown heard from a local radio station that a DJ named Busta Brown, no relation, was looking for a female co-host for his new show on the WB network. She applied immediately, auditioned, and ended up booking the gig. Brown's hosting duties included, among other things, interviewing celebrities who performed at the Greensboro Coliseum complex. There is no doubt in my mind that landing the job itself, in addition to the nature of the occupation, specifically being in the presence of these venerated people, got her dreaming once again. But it wasn't a matter of simply pulling up and going back to Hollywood at this point. What was once a one-year plan to return had transformed into almost 5 years of complacency. There were many more moving parts to consider. With more time that passed, Brown believed that the dream of stardom was all but gone. However, in 2004, Brown moved back to Los Angeles with a newfound determination to break into the industry, one way or another. As a day job, she worked at a Macy's in Century City as an office manager. Her time there, she recalls, was unpleasant, as she believed she was treated differently by the management. As a respite, she would oftentimes, on her lunch break, walk the block and see the offices of a major talent agency and prophesize that she would be signed to them. Accordingly, moonlighting and in other free time, she tried her hand at stand-up comedy and auditioned for television and film roles. Chance, in keeping in support of his wife's dream by ensuring the household was maintained with steady income and benefits, answered the call and joined the LAPD. I want to take the time and thank him for his service and acknowledge how difficult it must have been considering his race and the current times. I hope he was appreciated beyond here in his family because, despite the perception of law enforcement, he was actually a more positive image for the community than, say, despite being so close to her opportunities, Brown's aspirations would be deferred once again, as 6 months after the move, she began traveling back to North Carolina to care for her mother, who had developed amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. In 2007, Brown's mother would lose the fight but earn her wings. This may have been another turning point for Brown, as she was now more determined to become a star in her mother's name. The start of Brown's career isn't that clear, though her first film role appears to be in a low-budget slasher, Bad Reputation, that was released in either 2005, 2007, or both. Additionally, she doesn't seem to appear in the film. Her name can be seen in the end credits, and she is attached to this work according to various sources. So, the simple conclusion is that her scenes may have been cut, which is unfortunate, but part of the business. However, the next film features her prominently on promotional material, which is always a good sign, 2008's House Arrest. It is also worth noting that she was a producer on this project as well. Thus, this is where we will state that her career began in earnest. Admittedly, my first exposure to Brown was in her wildly popular series on YouTube. Thus, seeing her here was not so much jarring as it was definitely different. Not that she was no less attractive and affable in her on-screen presence. However, I could tell this wasn't the real Brown, and she discloses as much in an interview.
When I first started acting, I was trying to look a certain way and weigh a certain weight. I wasn't free, which is probably why I never got to be great. See, when your mind is free and you're not worried about what anybody thinks about you, you're a whole different artist.
As noted, the industry can be a hostile environment. Though this hostility is irrespective of gender or race, there is unfortunately a hierarchy to the level of indifference. Even before considering what you may have to do to curry the favor of the gatekeepers, let's explore the general aspect of image. It was, and in certain aspects still is, difficult for African Americans to break into the business. More so for African American women. Even more so for African American women of a certain phenotype. Though I will concede to there being a surge of a more robust representation currently, I'm sure that wasn't necessarily the case during the earlier time in Brown's career, which is why she comported to the best approximation of this ideal image that would get her the roles, and no one would blame her. I mean, this isn't quite on the same level as what other compromising positions one may put themselves into in order to advance their career, but it was not being your true and authentic self, as Brown has conceded. Again, the Brown I was introduced to was this goddess figure with an afro crown, affectionately nicknamed Donna, and a fuller figure. A far cry from the straightened hair, rail-thin body type, which seems to be the ideal image for women in Hollywood. And this image appeared to work for Brown, as she landed other roles in the same year. 2 Pleas and 2 Pleas Animated and Outrighteous, the latter of which also sees her in a starring role. 2009 has Brown in 3 more productions: Thug Love, Keeping the Faith, My Baby's Getting Married, and an uncredited role in Contradictions of the Heart, a movie that contained a number of notable working actors. And while everything thus far had been direct-to-video fare, receiving middling critical reviews, Brown starred in an indie short that was bubbling amongst critics, 2010's Helpless, a film which took a number of honors in the festival circuit, including Best Overall Film at the San Diego Indie Fest and the Jury Award for Best Film at the Riverside International Film Festival. Brown's next role would be in Caution to the Wind, playing a character whose life mirrored her own. The plot reads in part:
Starry-eyed unknown actress Veronica Page has begged a ride to Vegas as she hopes to audition for a huge and upcoming big-budget movie production there.
Also in 2010, Brown stars in Hero, another short directed by the man responsible for the indie darling Helpless. Kicking off 2011, Brown stars in 3 episodes of the web series LBs. Then, another full-length feature, Laughing to the Bank. The plot for this reads in part:
Brian Hooks delivers a witty and satirical look at an otherwise realistic issue that African American actors and actresses face due to lack of opportunities and roles that represent African Americans in a positive light.
Shot on a $100,000 budget, this appears to be the biggest production in which Brown had been involved up until that point, and one that had a nationwide theatrical release in over 170 cinemas. 2013 saw Brown in what appears to be the reprisal of the LB's series. However, this only ran for 2 episodes, with Brown being in one of them. She would also be featured in her first music video, Love Jam, by the group Mount Osa. Upon watching, I had one of those chuckles you get when you're pleasantly surprised by someone's actions, because she could have easily been a video girl in one of the more common genres of music, specifically by a neo-soul artist like Music, or maybe even like a hip-hop artist like Common. But she decided to go left, which is what I respect. Brown kept to the grind of a working actor and appeared in a number of other series, independent films, and movies that went direct to video throughout the 2010s, with marginal success and meager rewards. There was, however, another setback on the horizon that would prove most challenging. Around 2016, Brown began experiencing chronic pain and fatigue and fell often when walking. It also got to the point where her vision was temporarily impaired. She visited doctors frequently and underwent tests to determine her issue, but the results always came back normal. Additionally, she would be inundated with prescriptions that only seemed to exacerbate her situation. As Brown's physical health deteriorated, so did her mental health. With bouts of depression and severe panic attacks, she found it impossible to go on auditions and get the acting and comedy jobs she desired. As a breaking point loomed, Brown had a crisis of faith. While in her bathroom, she dropped to her knees and declared,
God, if you heal me, I'll do whatever you ask. Just heal me.
And her prayers would be answered in waves. Beginning with a dream where she saw herself on television, but not as a side character. No, she would have the starring role. Next, while yet again in prayer, Brown received the message to start doing videos for social media, something that she believed would be counterintuitive for her career as an actor. Nevertheless, she began making videos for her Facebook page. Finally, following the signs of the dream, Brown decided to shave off her hair. Known in certain circles as the Big Chop, for many women, this isn't a decision to come to lightly and oftentimes has deeper symbolic and spiritual implications. For Brown, this was her shedding the last vestiges of the image she was advised to adhere to in order to advance her career.
In the beginning, I had always done what agents told me would help me land gigs. Subdue my southern accent and keep my hair long and straight. I was suffocating the true me in real life. Was this what I needed to do in order to fulfill my dream?
Through the support of her family, husband in particular, in addition to her faith, Brown began to see her way out of the depressive fog. As her mental health rebounded, it would be a movie that sparked her physical health recovery. Choice, who was then 16 years old, told her mother about a documentary she had watched called What the Health. Though the film has been criticized for grossly mischaracterizing some reports, it did present a compelling outline connecting diet, disease, and genetics, a point that stuck with Brown. So much so that it made her reflect upon her own health problems and family history, concluding meat to be the common denominator. And so, she undertook another dramatic change, first starting with a 30-day vegan challenge. By a third of the way in, Brown became alleviated of the year-long persistent headache, and at the halfway mark, she regained her vitality. By the end, she was convinced this was also part of her new path. Thus, Brown's vegan recipes would be incorporated into her videos. Using her Facebook that was meant primarily for networking in the business, she began uploading videos, which at the time only garnered double-digit viewers. This didn't waver her resolve, and she continued. Brown was ascending. It was slow, but she could feel herself rising. In the meantime, she applied for and subsequently received disability to compensate for the lost income from acting gigs. When that ran out, around 2017, she drove for the rideshare Uber. For her, this served dual purposes: the obvious income it would generate, but also the potential of running into a casting agent or producer. After all, she would have a leg up over a fresh-faced, aspiring actor by directing them to her body of work. However, none of that would be necessary due to a video she filmed on a whim.
Baby, I come to you real quick, honey, real quick. Now, I'm out here trying to work out and stuff, and then, oh Lord, I got a piece of lettuce on there. Oh Lord, not on my new outfit. New workout clothes my husband got me. Don't matter. That's how good it is. I stopped at Whole Foods because I said, let me give it a little breakfast, right? Now, I know they be having some vegan options, but oh, I didn't know that in they deli, oh my God, they got a TTLA. And that's a tempeh bacon, tomato, lettuce, and avocado sandwich. I already ate one half of it, but good God almighty, oh my God. Y'all, when I tell you, I told myself, I said I'm gonna eat half now and half later. Honey, I gotta take another bite just so y'all can see. Okay? Just so y'all can see. Because I'm in the car. And I said, let me just eat a little bite of it. Honey, I ate that whole half. I said, well, I'll say the other half for later. But honey, listen. Y'all. Lord have mercy. Y'all know I can't sing, but this the baby sing, Whole Foods. When I think of the goodness, Jesus, and all he's done for me, honey, Whole Foods, my soul cries out.
Uploaded on the 30th of December in 2017, Brown, sporting a baby Donna and in her full and uninhibited southern drawl, goes on to describe in this video that's just over 3 minutes a delicious vegan sandwich she had at her local Whole Foods, courteous enough to share the other half with the viewers. All the years in front of cameras and comedy on stage prepared her to deliver what is essentially a succinct improvisation that had all the right mixture of humor, charm, and relatability, even for hardcore carnivores. This video not only became viral, but caused Whole Foods representatives to reach out to Brown with an offer to become a brand ambassador. Brown notes this as the video that essentially changed her life, but she hadn't seen anything yet. On the 30th of January in 2020, the World Health Organization declared the outbreak of the coronavirus disease, or COVID-19, a public health emergency of international concern. And by March, it was upgraded to a global pandemic. Many who were non-essential to the operation of daily life were ordered to shelter in place as an attempt to slow the transmission of the highly virulent disease, and while researchers developed a cure. This left a lot of people with time on their hands, and for content creators, this presented a boon to their business. In early March of 2020, Brown, on the insistence of choice, created a TikTok account. Her daughter obviously clued into what was trending and how her mother could fit into the mix. Kicking off her videos here was an attempt at the Renegade Dance Challenge. But it wasn't even the dance itself that would eventually garner the most views, but the B-roll style video of the interaction between Brown, Chance, and Choice, presumably filmed prior to the dance. For many, this felt familiar and endearing. Similar to the viral Whole Foods video, the Browns also conveyed an easy presence that didn't appear to be put on like so many other family video bloggers of the same vein. From there, Brown began including clips sharing vegan recipes and cooking tips. Brown would offer clips of family moments and also encouraging advice. For many, she was a respite from this hostile world, and she amassed 2 million followers in the space of 5 weeks as a result. Currently, she sits at just shy of 5 million, but that wasn't all. Created in 2010, Brown's YouTube channel appeared to be mostly a sparse repository of videos featuring young Choice and even younger Question, their second child. That is, until about late December in 2017, when her first vegan food review was uploaded. Similar to her viral Whole Foods video, which she also eventually uploaded here, she lauds the Garden Crispy Chicken Sliders, sheepishly admitting to eating 3 out of the 4 before thinking to make a video on it. It would garner 11,000 views. However, as mentioned, the Whole Foods video, uploaded about 2 weeks after being on Facebook, garnered 212,000 views. From there, the platform would more or less serve as a backup for videos posted to other social media. It is also worth mentioning that subscriber growth on this platform was substantial in the months after March in 2020, peaking at 100,000 earned in the month of May. However, it was her transition into her final form that would solidify her place in the annals of history. premiering on the 1st of December in 2021. Brown's Tab Time was a YouTube Originals targeted at children and those young at heart. YouTube Originals are original films and series that are offered to premium service members that are produced in collaboration with professional studios and personalities. One of the most famous original series include Scare PewDiePie, which ran for one season, consisting of 10 episodes that premiered on February 10th, 2016. As well as another well-known series, Dan TDM Creates a Big Scene, starring Dan TDM and Pinkfong Wonderstar, an animated series originating from South Korea that is produced by Pinkfong. Brown was now amongst those heavyweights on the exclusive section of the platform. As noted earlier, this is where I was introduced to Miss Tab. My wife had this playing on the family TV, and I wasn't paying much attention. But when I did, like most people, I could not take my eyes off of her. She reminds me of my wife in so many ways, and upon research into her life, the more parallels could be drawn. It also may be why my 4-year-old prefers to have this playing in the background, even if she isn't actively watching it for the 100th time. Speaking of which, Tab Time fast became the de facto show for the diaspora and beyond, as again, it had all the features of one personality with whom most parents of a certain age were familiar, wrapped in a whole different, refreshing package, featuring celebrity cameos, an animated version of the titular character, a cute mascot, singing and dancing, an aspiration a once young Tabitha had. But most of all, it was Brown at her most uninhibited. An LA Times online article dated May of 2020 noted that Brown's channel was at more than 200,000 subscribers. Today, it is over 4 times that, shy of 900,000, with Social Blade projecting it to hit the million mark in the next 6 to 8 months, in no small part to her highly regarded show that is soon to be caught in a bidding war between streaming services. And I'm calling that right now. Brown's series premiere sits at almost 2.6 million views, with each of the 2 10-episode seasons so far garnering in the hundreds of thousands to several million views, and the highest going to season 2's premiere at 4.2 million. Accordingly, season 1 was twice nominated for the inaugural Children's and Family Emmy Awards. Although a win eludes her, it will happen for season 2 and beyond, and I'm calling this as well. Quick side note, I made a video on Christopher Judge, another actor who grinded in entertainment before landing the role of Kratos in God of War. In the video, I mentioned that he was nominated for the British Academy Games Award for Performer at the 15th British Academy Games Awards, but lost to his co-star Jeremy Davies. Judge won the award for Best Performance at Game Awards 2022 for his performance in God of War Ragnarok. Though there is no public record of me making this prediction, I always held the feeling that he would be awarded for his efforts, as will Brown. In the meantime, she can relish in her other achievements that includes being a 2-time New York Times best-selling author, 2-time NAACP Image Award winner, Streamy Award winner, launching a hairline product, Donna's Recipe, at Ulta Beauty, a clothing partnership with Target, and signing with one of Hollywood's top talent management outfits, Creative Arts Agency, a move that made everything come full circle.
I was trying for over 20 years to pursue acting, which I still do, but a sandwich made me famous. That changed my life to where now I'm doing like campaigns for tons of other like vegan companies. I'm the brand ambassador for plant-based, for Whole Foods. They're like my BFFs, that's what they call me. I've traveled all over now, like hosting events, vegan festivals, like just to be myself. When all these other years I was pretending to be somebody else, it started with me being myself this time. So I don't have to like conform or change. Like, you know who you getting when I walk in the room, okay? This is her, this is me.
Though Brown had never quit acting and in fact resumed so after regaining her health, her burgeoning success elsewhere and personal resolve led to her becoming even more discerning with what parts she chooses to play, selecting characters with depth and gravitas, or ones that can really stretch her comedic abilities. But most of all, none where she felt she had to fit into a mold in order to play. A few roles in or around that time are as follows. In film, Brown stars along with comedian Tiffany Haddish in All Between Us and A Stone Cold Christmas in 2018. In 2019, she had a small but compelling part in the independent drama Princess of the Row, a story that deals with one family consisting of a father suffering from CTE and PTSD and his dutiful daughter living in the Skid Row encampment in downtown LA. Starring Edie Gathegi, seen in movies Crank, Gone Baby Gone, The Twilight series, and X-Men First Class, to name a few, and newcomer Taylor Buck in what appears to be her first film role. Brown played the aunt of Buck's character, Alicia Princess Willis. In but a few minutes of screen time, she laid out the entire dynamic between she and Princess. The movie overall was emotionally heavy and hit close to me personally. On TV, Brown would appear in the following, just to name a few: an episode of Switched at Birth, Will and Grace, 5 episodes of The Chi, and an episode of The Conners. She has several upcoming appearances in projects and 2 in which she is personally producing. As of today, Brown has the eyes and ears of the people, as she sits at nearly 12.5 million followers across her social media platforms. Her success has allowed her to appear in traditional media that includes Good Morning America, The OWN Network, Ellen Show, Today Show, and on the cover of many magazines. Additionally, Brown was now in a financial position where she was able to show appreciation for all the people who supported her throughout the years. Her father, a nearly 50-year retiree who had never purchased a new car for himself, was surprised by his baby girl with a brand new Chevy truck. In but one of the countless times he was there for his baby, Brown recalled contacting her father the moment she decided she didn't want to continue attending international university for fear she was wasting his money. This call came on a Friday, and without hesitation, he told her, "Let me finish work and I'll be on the road Saturday." Next, Brown stated that she was retiring husband Chance from the LAPD after 15 years of service. I'm sure this wasn't a decision they came to quickly or lightly, as for many reasons he would be reluctant to quit what was essentially his career at this point. But Brown convinced him, and as is explained in the video, that all of the years of supporting her had paid off, and now it was time to return the favor. Contrary to some opinion, she wasn't positioning him to be a kept man, but giving him the opportunity to now live out his dreams and continue to build upon the family empire. That said, Chance has teamed up with his wife for a show that was made for IGTV, another series on her YouTube channel, and also has other endeavors in the works, to include mentoring program Team Chance Basketball. So what makes her awesome is apparent. Tabitha Brown is a shooting star in the most literal sense. And while many are focused on the shining head, there is a scattershot of cosmic dust in her wake. This is what I parsed through for the creation of this video, and is what made the woman presented before the masses today so great. Smartly maneuvering through the Hollywood system while avoiding becoming a victim or cautionary tale, then circumnavigating the traditional industry altogether by finding notoriety on social media, only to have Hollywood come courting her, makes her current place in life both well-deserved and well-earned. All of which occurred due to listening to the advice of those who had her best interest in mind and adhering to an uncompromising faith. Most of all, having the support of a loving partner who held her down through the years of famine is allowing them to feast in a way that is perhaps unimaginable. I hope she gets a long ride and a graceful bowing out on her own terms. But for now, she continues to enshrine herself into the cultural zeitgeist, becoming a maternal figure for the diaspora and beyond, and most importantly, an image to which the next small-town chocolate brown girl can aspire. And for that, she has ascended. Okay, so thank you for watching this weird hybridized video. So this is actually a re-recorded, re-edited version of the ending. So my voice sounds probably different than everything else. And it's primarily because I wanted to change the music bed. So this is different. Yeah, I'm over here acting like this is an MCU entry with all the effort that I'm putting into it. I don't know if you all noticed, but there's a green screen effect inside this video and everything. It was just big. It was just big. Not only that, there was a monster script that I wound up cutting out major parts and just to keep some type of narrative pace. So much so that midway through the project, I had forgotten to include one of my siblings because I had cut around that part. It was big. This was crazy. And thanks to all my awesome siblings, and especially the matriarch, the Shiro, our mama, for contributing all of their voices to this project. I appreciate it beyond words. None of them knew what was going on. I would just casually ask them to record something, acting like I was testing some new software or equipment, and here we are. And that's not even to mention being unable to decide which series to put this into in the first place. Thus, we have this big project that was created, but it was fun and it all seemed to come together in the end, so I'm happy with it. And what better way to kick off the new year, one that will have me more productive, I promise, than by highlighting this awesome person who is doing so much for the community, so much for the people. She's so dope. She's so awesome. I'm glad I was able to do this. So it was a pleasure and honor to drop this one. And I promise I didn't realize the timing of it all until very late in the game. So happy birthday, Tabitha. You're dope. Much continued success. It looks like your blow up finally matches your glow up. So congratulations. As for me, it's back to the grind, where I get to work on the next entry in the awesomeness and premiere soon, so stay tuned, y'all. In the meantime, if you like what you're seeing here, you keep the love coming the best way you know how, by liking and sharing. Get more people to like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you know when I drop another nugget. And until then, stay awesome.
One post away, but the main thing is we have to keep going. We got to push forward into everything we do, and we got to believe it. We can't just move just because to move. You got to do it with purpose. You got to mean that thing. You got to mean it. Like, what is it that you want? What we want? I want all the desires of my heart, and God said I can have them all. He said we can have them all. But if you don't believe it, honey, you might as well stay in the bed.
I know that's right.
You might as well stay in the bed.
Okay, what you're going through, all it takes is one.
That's all it takes.